And this is going to be Tim. Tim is calling from Washington. And Tim has some thoughts on the nature of Christianity. Tim, what do you got for us?
Hey, how are you guys?
Hi there.
So for a couple of years, I grew up in the Mormon church and then became a fundamentalist Pentecostal and ex-gay minister and the whole thing. And when I left the church when I was 38, I moved into Druidism or Druidry and Wicca, that type of thing. And as I was studying some of the Celtic gods and goddesses, particularly the horned god Cernunnos, I realized that, wow, he really sort of resembles Jesus in how he's talked about. And then I did some more study. I since left Druidry and became an atheist. Now I'm studying basically the mystery religions, through particularly Timothy Freak and Peter Gandy, their book, The Jesus Mysteries, and how they relate to the mystery religions of Osiris, Tammuz, Mithra, all of them.
Can you just explain? I'm not super clear. What do you mean by a mystery religion?
The mystery religions were they were ancient religions that were based on sun gods. They were based on gods who were slain at Yule and then born at Yule at the same time. So they died on the cross, particularly the Southern Cross, the constellation where the sun sets on the day of Yule. And is rose again and is exalted, so to speak, at spring equinox and then summer solstice is at its highest. All these gods in the particularly Mediterranean area, Persia and the Mesopotamian area, are based on what happens to the sun throughout particularly the winter and into the summer days. They're basically just stories that have placed these people in the natural progression of the sun and the procession of the ages, that type of thing. So Christianity is basically nothing more than yet another pagan god based on all of the other mystery religions that involve baptism, salvation, and eternal life, and they all have the Eucharist, bread, wine, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, I mean, I've heard this before. Right. These parallels. I think that it's like I am not, and I don't pretend to be a ancient religion scholar or anything like that. It seems very plausible to me.
Well, we do know that Christianity adopted a whole bunch of pagan things in order to bring them into the fold,
right?
Like the Christmas tree, Yule log, mistletoe, gift sharing.
Yeah. These are like known. What, like borrowing or
memes.
Adaptation or whatever? Yeah, exactly. They're memes.
Full circle.
So I mean, I'm totally on board with this idea. It makes me wonder what the original one was. Do you know, Tim?
They have actually tried to figure out what the original story is. Probably the closest one is Mithras from Mesopotamia, I think, well, Persia. And then he moved over to Rome, and the Romans had a Mithran cult as well. that practice pretty much everything like that. So all of these mystery religions are the same, and David Kirkpatrick, one of my favorite, I guess, mythicists, when he talks about Mark being the first gospel that was written, and how it resembles the Iliad and the Hesiod and even the Bacchan Passion. It's all based around, it's a Jewish flavored Greek tragedy, basically, or Greek story. He wrote it as a fictionalized story, or
like an adaptation,
beautified, for lack of a better word.
Right.
Yeah. It's all the same. It's all the same stories, but it's with a Jewish tint to it, and so it's not that it was stolen from any of the others. It was that it was adapted, just like the Iliad was adapted from all of them. It was like Osiris was adapted, or actually Dionysus was adapted from Osiris. Two different cultures, but essentially the same story.
Right.
And they were all adapted from Mithra. So,
that's interesting. See, I would be interested in reading more about this this like comparative aspect, you know? Like I'd be interested in like reading sort of a side by side, like this is what it says in Christianity, and here's the analogous beliefs in, like, you know, ancient Egypt or ancient Rome or whatever it is.
Virgin birth.
Blood, death on the cross, like all these things. That'd be, if anyone knows of a book that goes through this, put it in the comments. I'd be very interested.
There is actually the best book ever to begin that study is called The Jesus Mystery. Was the original Jesus a pagan god? By Timothy Freke, Freke, and Peter Gandy. That's the best place to start as far as I'm concerned. That will probably lead you right down the rabbit hole.
Love it. Great. Yeah. Thanks very much, Tim.